Hey YouTube family, hope you guys are having a great day. It's been way too long since I posted my last video back in May. That's almost 6 months ago. Holy crap. So much has been going on since then, but today's video is going to be talking primarily about Adobe Max. I'm hoping to put out another video in the near future that talks about all the stuff that's been going on since my last video. Well, first off, let me say that Adobe Max was amazing. This was my third time going to Adobe Max. You know, it's something that the first time I went, I was very overwhelmed. I was like, you know, I've been to so many conferences before. I didn't know what to really expect. And this conference is by far the largest conference that I've ever been to. This year was, I believe, over 15,000 people attended Adobe Max. That is insane. It was very awesome to be able to be there. You know, I had a table in the marketplace where I sold slaptastic stickers and my own prints. I also was on Adobe Live, albeit only for about 15 minutes because the keynote the first day went long, and so we were only live for about 15 minutes. But oh well, it was still a lot of fun. It was really cool because the Adobe Live booth was had all of my illustrations I did for Adobe Live. In fact, I actually have some of the stickers that they made here. Let me see if it will. Yeah, this was so cool to see these things finally made into stickers, and it was so cool. Hopefully you'll see some image of me or images or something like that where I show the actual illustrations, because it was amazing. It was just so cool to see them blown up to about, 5 feet tall. I've never seen any of my artwork before blown up that big, so it was really cool. Hopefully I have some footage of that, or at least some sort of images I can share with you guys, because it was awesome. But it was really cool because they gave out these sticker packs at the Adobe Live booth all 3 days. In fact, a lot of people kept coming up to me when I had my table on the third day selling stickers, asking like, "Oh, can we buy these? Can we buy these?" I was like, no, sorry, can't buy them. Sorry. I think someone did buy like $60 to $70 worth of stickers, and I did give them one of these packs. I really only have, I think, 4 packs left. It's a little sad, but it was really cool. Before I jump into all the amazing stuff, or actually, you know what? Never mind. I was going to do something, but I'm going to wait till the end to do that. Don't you love these videos? There's no real editing to them. It's all off the cuff. Let's first talk about a couple of things that was announced at Adobe. I'm not going to talk about everything because then we'd be here for hours upon hours, but let me talk about a few of my favorite things that was announced. Number one would definitely have to be Photoshop CC on the iPad Pro. That's coming in 2019. I heard some rumblings about it, early this year and last year at Adobe when I was there on Adobe Live, but no one could really tell me if it was actually going to happen. And so it's amazing to hear that. I cannot wait to get that onto the iPad Pro. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. I might have to update because I have the first generation iPad, but it's going to be really cool. The other things that I remember from the keynote, there was a lot of stuff going on with Photoshop, a lot of updates to shortcuts, to small little things that people were really excited about, or that people have been asking for a long time. That made me really excited because there were things that I was like, why wasn't this in there to begin with? And it's great. I already started playing around a little bit with some of the elements, a little bit of clicking and dragging things. Also tried the photo selection, which is really cool. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because I don't use Photoshop that much. But the big thing, one of my favorite things to come out of this new the new releases involves Illustrator. So with Adobe Illustrator, you had a couple of big things, at least a couple big things for me. I think there was more stuff that they didn't even get to that have changed. The biggest thing is the editing similar shapes. That was probably the coolest thing I saw. I actually was privy to that before Adobe Max, but I could not say anything. I could not use it, but I knew that was coming. It was really awesome to see how you can quickly edit the same little element throughout an entire artboard. I've already used it myself in my work with one of my branding clients. We have a bunch of child brands that we were working on, and all of them included one small element. We updated that little element, and I would have had to spend probably about an hour going through and editing all of the other pieces. but I tried out that new feature and it saved me a ton of time in doing so. Hopefully, while I've been talking about all this, I've been sharing a little bit of that with you guys, sharing you a little glimpse of what I'm talking about. All I have to say though is it was amazing to see that. The other cool thing, and I don't know if this was something that was already there or if it was something that's completely brand new, but the other thing that really jumped out to me was the new properties panel update. There's so much more going on in properties panel than I ever remember. Maybe it was updated a year or two ago. I just never used the property panel until now. The biggest thing for me though is type. So in the type panel, as you guys are hopefully seeing right now on your screen, you can now go through and find similar typefaces to the one that you are using. You can actually go and visualize each one of those. It's really, really cool. It's something that I never really thought too much about. I remember maybe thinking about it with branding projects in particular. You're always looking for different typefaces to use for, as like a jumping off point for logo types. And you're also looking for typefaces for supporting text and things along that those lines. So it's really cool to be able to see all that stuff and be able to edit that in depth so much more. Another big thing that came out, and by the way, sorry guys, I actually wrote notes, notes here. So if you guys are wondering why I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking down at my notes of what I wanted to talk about. The other big thing that was announced is Project Gemini. Now, Project Gemini is actually something I've beta tested. I've had a few calls with Adobe over the last 6 to 8 months where we've gone through and we've talked about it. I even got to test it out at Adobe. The first time I saw it, wasn't a huge fan of it. Didn't really see the value in it. But now after seeing Kyle Webster mess around with it on the Adobe stage, I am convinced. I'm really excited for this mobile app. It's going to be amazing. If you guys haven't seen any of the new stuff with Adobe, please definitely go and check down the show notes below. There will be a link for you guys to see the entire keynote. Hopefully, I actually have to check on that. So hopefully there's a link down there. If not, I apologize. But the important thing is there's so many great things happening at Adobe right now. So many amazing people working on so many spectacular things. And I'm excited about what could be next. I don't know what could be next. It could be maybe they put Illustrator on the iPad Pro. Please put Illustrator on the iPad Pro. Please. Sorry about that. Please add a pen tool to Gemini or a pen tool to Adobe Illustrator Draw or Adobe Photoshop Sketch. Please put those in there. That's something that everybody has been calling for. But I will say this, it's always fun to go to these events. Someone actually asked a weird question to me over Instagram stories right after Adobe Max. And that was, they asked, why would someone pay to go to a conference where you already pay for that company's software? It was a weird question. I didn't really understand it. But the thing is when you go to these conferences, you get to learn so much more about the software, about the people behind the software. You get to see how other people are using it. You get to see all the new things that are coming out. You get to see so much stuff, and it's just really amazing to do all that. And for instance, another thing I love about going to Adobe Max is the fact that you can see people, you can buy amazing things. For instance, you can be like me and be obsessed with, hopefully this is probably going to be backwards, but getting these Adobe pillows here. You can see all back there. I've got a bunch of Adobe pillows. We're going to throw those back there, and none of them hit, but that's okay. I'll set them up later. I also got to see a lot of good friends. I got to see Aaron Draplin, an amazing guy. If you haven't, go check out his Skillshare videos. Go check out, all his stuff. If he's coming to talk near you, go see him talk. Amazing talk. I have to say, I'm actually in his book, so that makes it even cooler for me. I got to see the Hood sisters and finally pick up this amazing book of theirs, Freelance and Business and Stuff. This is so cool. I actually got the digital copy a while back, and I was excited to finally get my hands on this. Definitely go check them out. There's going to be a link to their stuff as well in the show notes, as well as Draplin's. I also stopped by my friends at DKNG and picked up some prints here. It was interesting talking to them because they told me that this was the only stuff that they've actually made merch-wise in the last year since Adobe Max last year. But I really love this. In fact, in my dining room, I have a few of their prints up. I always love their stuff, and it's always fun to be able to not contribute, but to dang, what's the right word? See, this is why you guys probably love these videos, because I don't go through and edit out these little things. Support. Because I go through and I like to support, you know, my fellow friends. I got to see my good friend Christopher Lee, The Beast is Back. Amazing guy, super nice. He helped me and my fiance last year, or a couple years ago, get Comic-Con passes. He's just a super sweet, nice guy, very knowledgeable, always willing to share his knowledge with me. So it's always cool to see him. Oh, and the biggest thing was, this is something I completely forgot to mention at the beginning of this, was that not only was I at Adobe Max, but I was able to take my fiance there as well. That was a big thing for me, because I was finally able to share with her, you know, this whole creative world that I'm constantly in. I was able to introduce her to a bunch of people that I knew. She got to see people come up to me and take pictures with me because they were excited to meet me in person. It was just such an amazing feeling. And it's great to be able to share that with you know, the woman I love, my fiance. It's just really spectacular. She got to meet some of my old friends who she's never met before, so that was even cooler. But overall, Adobe Max this year for me was really amazing. It was so much fun to be able to be there, to be able to interact with so many people. Probably my least favorite part was the crazy line going to the bash. We actually ended up not even going to the Adobe Max bash because the line was like a mile long. The people, there was a couple that was near us. They said it took them between an hour to 2 hours to get in. And I was just like, yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that. We just went to our Airbnb and ordered pizza. But it's so cool to finally be back here. This is a long video already. I'm probably going to do no edits whatsoever to it, except for maybe add in some elements so you guys can see some of the new features. But it's so great to finally be coming back to producing new videos for YouTube. This is the first of many to come. Hopefully you guys don't get too caught up with how crappy this video might be. It's the first one in a while, so I've got to get back into the groove of it. But please, definitely go check out all the links down in the show notes, all the links to the amazing people, to the keynote for Adobe Max. Please definitely go and definitely leave comments down below of what you guys would like to see in these future videos. I have a lot of stuff on my to-do list, like doing tutorials, doing just vlogging videos, just like putting out as much content as possible. So hopefully you guys love these videos, and please always remember to stay passionate, stay positive, and stay creative. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.